We are moving along with this build. Because we're gonna make a mold of the entire car in the end, it's been kind of an unusual process. It's allowed us to use a lot of different pieces from different cars. Some good, some not so good. But at the end of the day, I gotta make it work with the design we're going for. That's my favorite thing about customizing, is that you take something that exists and you make it your own. It's definitely a challenge. Front end of this car is pretty much redefined. I really like the concept with the fenders we're using so far. The challenge was getting it to match this new Lamborghini style nose. The crazy thing is I think I got away with this. Putting the Lamborghini nose on here was a real hard mend with this contour, but by using these lenses, it really helped this flow right down into the steep angle of the nose. It's pretty cool, huh? Because you can see now, just another clay model representation. It's probably the headlights. If you see the lenses, then you'll understand. These plastic lenses really helped me create this symmetry because I have definite mounting points and angles to contour the fenders off of. So the reason I wanted to use these was because this curvature here, you can see it gives the fender a reason to flow right down into that steep angle from the other nose piece. You could go any direction with the headlight choice. You know, something super expensive, maybe even Lamborghini headlights. I went to the local scrapyard, looked around, and found something I could modify to work. The thing I saw firstly was this cool shape. I don't know how to describe it, but what I like most, it's got a really modern projector-style headlight bulb in there, and we could modify anything inside this housing. I don't know how Victor's gonna feel, but to me, look at this. This is a really unique looking lizard-faced car. It's pretty awesome. I needed some kind of symmetry, so I was able to make a template off of this grill opening, and that gave me the angle and the distance from this shape here. And then just flip it, and that's how you get the symmetry. I was using these as tools, but in the end, they look pretty darn awesome. Cool fact of these headlights is they are production car parts. They got some numbers on them. I'm sure we can get a duplicate set. It's a really unorthodox way to build a car. We've never done it like this before. I just hope we can tie it in as the end time comes, because it's pretty loose. There's two giant holes in the side of the car. Just don't look at that, don't look at the roof. The nose looks good. The big challenge in this whole thing is that we're kind of just coming up with one aspect of the build at a time. It's almost like charades. In other words, I have a piece and I'm explaining, you know, sounds like this, feels like this, and Victor comes up with what he hopes is a solution. Or versa versa. Victor brings in some stuff and I gotta figure out how to put it together. This nose piece is completely void of any grill or insert. You know, I'm working on the headlights, the upper side of it. The wheel arches need to get fit in as well. You can see that this wheel arch opening definitely is not going to be okay. It's way too far out. I got an idea that just might fix the problem pretty easy. Victor's showing me all these old parts laying around the yard, you know, and he's optimistic. I'm thinking these burnt up fenders are worthless. It turns out I need this shape for this task. I got your fender arch right here. Anything goes in this mold process. All we need to do is create a shape. It could be foil back there, t-shirts, newspapers. As long as the surface looks nice, we can mold on it. This nose is really coming together. Victor's coming in. We gotta design this grill opening because that is gonna make or break the look of the car.
Ian, what's going on?
Hey, hey. These occasional visits by Victor is kind of like the shop manager coming in and checking on the employee's progress. I think it's essential that he's here during the whole thing.
Wow, what a difference. That's amazing. You blended in that Lamborghini front end like perfectly.
It's good to see that Victor's happy with the front end. I showed him my idea for the headlights and I could see his wheels are turning. He's kind of liking the idea.
Yeah, no, that's gonna look awesome, man. Look at that. It's gonna give you that like mean look. And what I love about what he did when he contoured the hood and the headlight, it gives you this like round fender, just sleek, like made for speed, you know, supercar speed. This guy nailed it again.
So, as usual, you told me what to do and I did my own thing anyway. So I moved the nose in a little bit shorter.
Yeah, I noticed you took about 6 or 8 inches off. Remember, I wanted this thing to go like this, and then now it just goes like this.
Victor is all about proportion, and he was coming up with these numbers that just didn't jive to me. So most of the time, I just have to do what I see fit at that moment. You know, the great question, what would Ian do? I just ask Ian and do it.
You didn't cut it, did you?
After all that labor and accomplishment, Victor's only got one thing on his mind, and that's like, did you cut the Lamborghini front end apart? Fortunately, I know I didn't have to do that, and the secret's safe with me. It's buried underneath plenty of filler. If you're cool with the way this is progressing, I say we get that lower spoiler in place and figure out what we're gonna do about the grill opening.
Let's do it. That, since you adjusted it to fit the wheels, it's wider than the actual piece now. The first thing that bothers me, you know, was definitely these little wings coming out here. I want to cut these little wings off of here and just take it and let the body come straight up to this point.
That's a really nice piece to be cutting up, but we can do whatever. What were you thinking about the grill opening?
Check this out. You know, Super Bowl, right?
Right.
Well, I bought a new TV.
When I explained to Victor that we can incorporate anything into the design of this car, he takes it to heart. And I think he's trying to push the boundaries a bit.
So here's the grill, literally. Check this out. I mean, I seen it and that's where I got it. Check it out. There's the grill right there.
He's walking in the door with a pile of Styrofoam. He says he bought a big screen television for the big game on Sunday. And for whatever reason, he's looking at these foam packing parts and it looks like the grill to a supercar to him.
Ian's looking at it like, you know, scratching his head like this dude's out of it.
Starting to get a little bit loose, man. You're throwing everything at this. First the TV, next the kitchen sink.
What do you think?
As Victor's giving me a sales pitch, I'm starting to respond a bit. I mean, yeah, it does have an interesting look. You put them together, it makes like a V shape that could be a grill. You can shape foam really easily. Okay, I think we can work with this. I see what you're saying. Look at this vent you get in here.
I think if we just get this and just curve it a little, so now it's curved, just like everything we got curved. Sure, we got a few straight lines, but I just take the sharpness off, so it's just a little, you know, curve to it all the way around. You know, my job is to like give the basic concept and idea. Ian's job is to make it work and make it look good, because some of the stuff I come up with could be, you know, looked at kind of interesting, to say the least.
You're not down with using the TV packing for the sports car?
In here, this is the bottom piece, the screen in here for the radiator, the screen in there for the radiator. That baby's done.
So you've been thinking about this a little while.
I had it in my vision, but
Yeah.
since I bought a TV, that was the cheapest TV I ever bought, because now you got a Lambo grill.
Critical factor in how this grill bar is going to work out is the bottom opening of the chin spoiler area. You know, Victor didn't want to cut apart his Lamborghini stuff. I told him it would be super easy to make a replica of that in fiberglass and attach it to the car. Well, no, we haven't done anything weirder than this yet, but it seems like it's progressing fine. When you brought in the foam, the first thing I was thinking was, well, yeah, we just make a mold on that and we could lay it up in fiberglass or carbon fiber or whatever. But I could also make it out of aluminum to match the rear section.
And metal, that's your specialty, man. You've mastered that art. That's what Ian's specialty is, metal. So I'm glad, you know, instead of playing with all this foam and fiberglass and this stuff, he's finally be able to use his strength in doing his fabrication.
I think the extra effort's gonna be worth it. This is kind of like the jewel on the front of the car. I know I can pull it off, I just gotta make it happen. This concept Victor and I are coming up with, the foam model, is a loose interpretation. You know, my idea, making this out of aluminum, I'm gonna modify the shape just a bit, and that's really gonna set the whole design off. I think this is gonna have to be made out of 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces per side. Always thinking ahead on how we're gonna wrap the entire project together. By building this front grille out of aluminum, it ties in with the rear exhaust fin thing I created, so I think the aluminum will be a design aspect through the entire project. Victor was saying that this ridge here is gonna be a keeper, so I'm gonna try to mimic that in the aluminum. The idea is this is gonna be a hollow part, so I'm tracing it around the foam and starting to form each piece independently. Yeah. So you can see, when I cut that line, you got a nice ridge that matches the nose. The biggest challenge in this whole thing is I have to envision where I'm going without a sketch, only a discussion on every aspect of this project. In the end, you need a whole car that matches, so each part has to blend in somehow. These guys taper, but this is a straight shot, so I'm gonna join them right at that bend. So this is gonna be a little bit thicker because there's gonna be a lot of welding trying to keep this thing in shape. I think that this will help. I'm gonna cut 2 6-inch strips and just fold them. This material is kind of thick. It's starting to push the limits on this sheet metal brake, but it's working out. See, that handle's the result of some aggressive use. The main thing here is to make sure all the pieces have the same degree of bend and that they're all fit up symmetrically. 2 bottoms, 2 tops. It isn't really a complicated shape to create, but it's got to look like the foam model, so I'm just using that as a template. I'm literally building the metal panels around this foam structure just so it looks like our model. Even though we're modifying all the parts of this car as we go, what I try to do is make the most refined step towards the end game. So all this metalwork, I'm really thinking ahead so that the keeper pieces are really a nice finish. So this is pretty much set up to weld. It'll take a long time to weld this without warping it and then sanding it so it looks seamless. But that's basically the idea. You got these 2 6-inch plates parallel and a nice crown on top. You know, just refined Victor's foam idea a little bit, but there's no waves in it. It'll be perfectly straight. This is a nice little project to take me away from all that sanding. So metalwork is kind of the realm I thrive in, and to do something really, artistic is more like jewelry than just car body fabrication. So it's a nice change of pace. I'm using the TIG welder on this aluminum just because it's really versatile. In these odd shapes I'm welding together, I can make sure everything has got a full penetration weld. That way when I polish it back, it's still strong. The whole idea here is just keeping it light as possible. I didn't put any back on it because I'm gonna chop into here somewhere to fit around the body of the car. And then later I'll just put a couple cross tabs to brace it. Right now I'm just gonna sand off all this stuff until it looks like a perfect finished piece. Finishing process on this metal part is just like bodywork. Using these 3M discs just to rough everything out. After I get the surface knocked down, it's just a series of finer grits to bring this thing out to a polish. It's just block sanding, man. I know it's boring. It's not as exciting as the rest of the stuff, but it counts. All right, so that's pretty much the story. So now all you gotta do is figure out how to put it on the car. Last thing is to fit this into the car body. So there's a number of areas I don't want to modify in the Lamborghini nose, so I'm notching this aluminum back. Little by little, it's gotta fit into place. And I want it to look nice in the end, so I'm making templates, making sure the cuts are symmetrical, so it just slips in tight, no big gaps. whole thing is this face here is going way too far forward. Part of what the remedy might be is to pie cut it. Came up with this idea to pie cut the V just so it fits in a little bit better. It's kind of risky to do at this point because I'm working right through the old weld joint. There's nothing to support it or really gauge the shape. Another trial and error thing. We'll see if it works out. Okay, that looks like it's doable. There's only this little piece of metal holding the whole thing together, so I got to get that onto the table and weld it secure. Just gonna match these, weld them, and then we can set them in the car and join them. Pie cut worked out okay. Welded it back together, finished it off. I really want to get this in the car and see how it looks. I changed around a few things from the original flat concept. You know, joined the center, filled in the whole thing here underneath, welded the underside. In the end, if you want to polish it, that would be the next step, but right now I've maintained that nice defined ridge all the way through. I never built one of these before. It's just knew I could weld, and I had a vision. And there it is. Building a grill bar like this is kind of a shot in the dark. You know, I know I got the skills to do stuff, but it's very rewarding to see it finished and in the car. Look at that thing. It's just what the car needs. A couple things I want to finish up before Victor checks it out. This is quite an improvement. One more element that's going to seal the deal. I'm always thinking, you know, everywhere I look, there's potential. From behind, curtain number 3. I found this mesh. I don't know what it is. It's like a paper substance. There was just a box of it at one of these scrap yards, and I bought it. It's like you can see me at certain angles, and when I turn, I disappear. The whole purpose of this mesh is to shroud the mechanical look behind the grill bar. It's also got to look cool, and most importantly, air has to flow through it freely for the radiators. It's pretty space age, huh? It's not metal, it's not foam. It's something in between. Always with that. Need some space. I'm gonna mock up this mesh to complete the package, give it the whole look before I show it to Victor. Giving this mesh a quick shot of black spray paint. In the end, I'll finish this thing off really nice and get the proper fasteners in place, but this is all about the mock-up.
Ian, wow, what a difference. That's words that I can't say on television. This guy made this grill out of aluminum and curved, rounded the edges. He really put a lot of thought in that because the craftsmanship on that grill is just like perfect. That is cool. And actually that finish is pretty cool. What did you put behind it? Is that a screen or what?
It's this weird composite mesh. It's actually about a ½ inch thick, but it flows air perfectly. And you can see, you can't see anything behind it.
It hides the radiators, has the flavor, everything's there. Just, I really can't tell till I see that one line across.
The last step in this front end grill opening is the chin spoiler. You know, the bottom dimension. It's changed a bit because of our design. Put some envisioning tape across the front of the car just to come up with our parameters of the grill opening. I think we're gonna use some of the styling from the Lamborghini part. I'm just gonna make my own from scratch. That's kind of what I'm seeing, just to clarify with you. So this gray is basically representing the car body line. It's critical to have like a heavy element on the bottom. You know, that's what grounds the car. So it makes it look super low. Right now it's all up in the air. So to get this bottom part in place is gonna seal the deal. And again, we're not just sticking found parts on the car, man. We're making everything. So I'm all about that. So it'll look like the other part, but it'll be homemade. Let's do it. One of the benefits about working with fiberglass is that you can flesh out an idea pretty quickly. But Victor and I decided he didn't want this raised center section, and then he didn't want these upright fins on the side. So you can see what you get in the end. It's almost a perfect match. If he doesn't like it, we'll just do another one. Finishing touches are just to paint it gray, make it look like the rest of the car. You know, that's the neutral tone. Fortunately, this fiberglass nose Victor brought in has holes that was the same way that the original car was put together. They just bolt up. Done deal. Yeah, so now you really get that look. The whole thing with this design is it needs that bottom. Otherwise, it just looks like a suspension bridge, you know, it's just two legs. That bottom makes the two air vents completely apparent. One of the last things to do will be fitting the outside edges of the chin spoiler to the final contour of the fender. Leave an extra space for now, because you never know, something just might change. Just one step at a time. You know, you're looking at the car through these goggles. That's looking good. That, not so much. There's a whole thing going on. Definitely nailed this grill opening, where there's a whole world of trouble on top of that car. Can't look like a Sterling.